Sanibona emakhaya igama lami Scelo Ngubane. I'm inspirational speaker. Today we have our special guest. Please introduce yourself.
Okay, Zanele Mnguni,
Yes.
no longer etwala. I don't know what to exactly. I'm not going to introduce. I can go on for hours.
For hours?
I enjoy talking about myself.
Please do. Tell us about yourself.
I was born to
About interview, that's one question they don't like. Tell
I
us about
honestly
yourself.
don't like that question, Yazi. But it depends. Uguti ibuzwa kupige for me.
Okay.
I think for a job interview, young bohage, because I feel I cannot give you my CV. And then when I'm ngixoxela ukuthi wazini ngamashu
Yeah, bafundi CV itholile lapha.
You know, exactly.
Okay.
But on like personal outside an interview yomsebenzi, I enjoy gaming talking about myself because it's only a selected number of people that I actually allow ukuthi bazuzanele.
Okay.
So it depends who you are. And it depends how I feel about you. Bese ngizokunikeza lo Zanele ngifeel ukuthi
uyamdeserve. Okay.
I'm very selective.
So meaning you can give people a different version of you.
I always say I have an undiagnosed bipolar.
Who's diagnosed already?
Misdiagnosed. I mean, I'm not bipolar.
Serious?
No, I do. I feel you can't give yourself to everyone.
Yeah,
you need to be protective. Ngawe, you know?
Yo.
So there's uZanele wasemsebenzini, there's uZanele wefamily, there's uZanele wabangani nje, there's uZanele wama close friends wami. So I choose what to give you.
There's uZanele of the community.
Of the community.
Abo mama bathi sifuna nifanele lo ntombazana.
Yes. So I'm very, very selective and I'm very calculative as well.
Okay.
Ukuthi ngikunikeza abantu. But in a nutshell, uZanele known as uZanele Twala to abantu abaningi that don't know ukuthi I got married. Some do know that I got married.
Yeah.
Ntombazana yaseThwathwa extension 7,
Yeah.
born, bred and buttered.
Yes.
What else do I want you guys to know about me? I'm number 5 of 6 girls, ekhaya. I don't know why they called me uZanele. You know, I always say askis to mtana sekhaya omncane, but I've always said uyi mistake.
But that's value, wena.
How, I mean, why would you call me uZanele?
Zanele ntombi, it makes sense.
You know, because ubabam thinks, umamam no babam, they think they're very smart and they're like, uZanele besusibongile. Nibongani because bekuyimvelo okugcina.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, number 5 of 6 girls. A mother of 2.
Okay.
A 10-year-old and a 5-year-old.
Wow.
I work for. Do I want to say good? Okay, I work in the banking sector. That's where I've been for impilo yami yonke, if I would say. I tried leaving Ike. People don't know that. I left the banking sector for about 3 years.
Is it?
3 years, 5 months. I went into the auditing space. But there's something about banking. Once you go banking, I never anything else. I struggled for 3 years trying to fit in.
Is it because of the environment? I'm told like in the banking sector. The only people about banking sector are the clients. But the people in the banking sector, they love it there.
The honest truth is that for someone who started a career in banking, before I left the banking space to go into auditing, I was in the banking sector for 9 years, 7 months. So it was in my DNA.
True.
It was who I am. Like I came into the banking sector as umntwana. I became a mother in the banking sector. I became a wife. I became me.
You grew there.
It's me.
Yeah.
So how do you take that DNA away from me? My entire identity was that company.
Wow.
So leaving and trying something new, it was so crazy. Even when I went for my interview, sitting at reception, I knew I did not belong. For me, it's
for the auditing.
For the auditing.
Okay.
That particular company, let me not speak about auditing yonke because there's big there's big fives in auditing, those big 5 companies in auditing. So I worked for one. As beautiful as that building was, I just did not see myself fitting in.
Yo.
First day at work, parking, I was like, hey, laphaya bengingakabatsheli ukuthi ngiyahamba, because I was on what they call reassignment, restructuring when our company went, banks have go through a mass restructuring. So after 9 years of being with that particular bank, they decided to change a brand and go for another brand, or rather go back to their old brand, right? So with that came changes of they needed to design a structure esisha. With the new structure, they needed to design positions amasha. With new positions, it meant downsizing. So there was 16 of us. So by profession, I'm an assistant. So executive assistant, personal assistant, that's just me. It's what I've studied, it's what I know, it's what I've done for years. There were 16 of us, 2019. 16 of us. Then they came with the new structure, and in the new structure, they only had 3 positions.
From 16 to 3. So about 13 in
Gone.
Haramzi.
Gone. The nice part of the story for me now was I learned at that stage, Uguti, when it comes to having faith, not Mina, I've got faith for days. Mina, when the Bible says, faith like potatoes, that's me. I remember that year was hard for a number of people because this was a restructuring that went in phases. But the difference was that it did not start from the bottom up. It started from the top to bottom. So it started with your execs and it went down and it went down. So they basically first affected the top structure of the hierarchy.
That's a very different approach.
Very different approach. So whoever I'm appointing for your business unit, we all affected the next phase. Then ashukuthi ngifuna mina sami structure sibukeke kanje, and then laba baba successful la ba affecta laba bathi ngifuna esami structure sibe kanje, so on and so on. So you got to witness what people went through, and at the same time leave in suspense yoguthi I'm next. I don't know how the structure is going to look like. I don't know if I'm a survivor. I don't know if I'm going to have a job. More than anything, I think into that allows you to have fear is being a parent, not being able to provide for your kids. So, unkulunkulu muhle, in those 3 vacancies, I was successful.
Okay.
I was successful, which was the greatest blessing. I won't lie. Efanige about that entire restructuring. So, on a daily basis, nizofonelan because you don't even go to work. And I'm 70 basically. No, your roles are redundant. Here I am, Ekaya. We check in on a daily basis. All right, keep on, And I remember when people said angili, I was eating. When people said anglali, benglali.
You were fine with the,
I was fine. Okay. I can't explain. When the Bible says, I will give you peace that surpasses all understanding. That was me during that time.
I was now why you so comfortable.
Mamela, I did not know kule 16. Am I going to make it? Am I not? And remember, this is 16 different races, different ages. There's people who are more qualified than you. There are people with more experience than you. And unfortunately, in our role as assistants, our relationships that you have matter.
So who I wanted to come there with, that your strength has always been people's skills. Is it because of
I think it comes naturally.
Okay.
I think it comes naturally. I think I was naturally born like this. I'm a people's person. I do not know what a description for a people's person is, but I would describe myself as people's person. It doesn't matter who I am meeting for the first time.
Yeah, because any into is that you don't even check a profile, like you relate with everybody.
For me, that comes naturally. And I think that is why I've always excelled in my role as an assistant, because naturally, it's just who I am. Hence, I always say, for me, anyone ozotigi talk about you. For me, it comes naturally. And I can never write down about Simpiloyam, but I can always speak from the heart because it is who I am, you know? It is who I am. It is something that I do naturally. I get umuntu who can tell my story better than me because yimeng is pili.
True.
You know, so for me, it comes naturally. So going back to the restructuring story, hey man, when I got that call to say you've got the job, it was shocking. It was shocking, but at the same time, it gave me confidence.
Okay.
You know, in myself. It gave me confidence in whatever power that I believed in. You know, a long story short, I did not accept the role.
Is it?
I did not. But instead, I opted to move to e-auditing because I felt I needed to go explore
It's time for change.
what that world has for me. One thing I love about that journey or that transition was the child that I had come in as was not the same person in Pumengiwuye, and it was not the person that I introduced in the auditing space. But I had seen ukuthi sengikhule kangakanani. You know, from being a child ongene in the banking sector, I think I was 19 when I joined that bank. I left when I was around 30. Yeah.
It's about 21 years of experience there.
Yeah. Mangpuma, going into the auditing space, I learned, I introspect, I speak to myself a lot. On a daily basis, I sit and I'm like, okay, let's talk. Into nje, what do you think? What can you do better? How can you improve? So I had to sit and say, what did you give this company? What did you get out? What can you introduce to a company? And funuguyibona iphuma. You know? And for me, more than anything, it was, I came in as a baby. I played a lot. And ukudlala kwami contributed in me growing, and it also contributed to me not growing as much as I could from this company. So which means I could not come out as loyo mtana loyo. There were changes that needed to be made. Went into the auditing space. I killed it. I killed it because I was intentional. I was intentional. I'm going there. I am going to make a killing. In less than a month, even the CEO knew me by name.
Wow.
There was a girl called Zanele who was doing wonders. The entire department felt, and for me, nothing gives me joy to say, listen, I don't want, angithandi was introducer.
Let
I
your
want
work
to show
introduce-
people who I am. That's me.
Wow.
Angeke ngize ngivele la ngithi, oh, I'm a Christian. Ngifuna izenzo zami say. I will never say to you I'm kind. Ngifuna uyibonele ukuthi that's me. Fast forward to a couple of years later. I think this is important for me to highlight. So, la ngibuya khona, ne? I remember ngibacocela ukuthi no yazi, you know, telling people briefly about yourself. So mina bengifunda esikoleni saselokishini, you know, evezukhono. Hey, they laughed. They laughed. What? Bayagugula. No, there's no way. You know, there's no way. I'm like, what do you mean there's no way? They're like, wena as a person, no, there's no way. And I say, no, for real. For real. I'm a girl, obvious Kolensase. We never used to pay school fees. It is known as one of the most corrupt schools. It was, I would believe. I don't know how I made it to Lion Con. I don't. Just this morning, my husband and I were talking, Nitsi. Yay, I look at my matric result and I'm like, you know? And I can't believe it. Fast forward to now, Mina, I can say I am an executive assistant. I have a degree. I have X. I have Y. Because according to the standards of the world, it was impossible. There's no way.
True.
There's no way.
So maybe evaluating yourself on the basis of those results, you could have downsized in terms of your vision and who you are. And whereas your character was able not to take any negative.
You know what's crazy when I was Kulu? What's crazy is, you know, when impilo yakho nawe mawuhlala evaluate, it doesn't make sense. Guwe. Guwe. Mina, I was raised by ubaba who worked FMIN. Ne? Bebayenza incwadi, envelope, stationaries. And a mother who worked a factory, bathunga impahla. Number 5 of 6 girls. Ekhaya, siswami omdala I don't think finished matric. Nolandelayo didn't finish matric, and the third one did not finish matric. The fourth one, Ngimlamayo, did finish matric but did not do anything after matric. All those 4, Ngbalandelayo, they've all failed or repeated a grade. There comes Zanele, have never failed a grade, completed my matric. I think Ekaya, I am the first of so many things. The first of so many things.
Wow.
And I don't know how. I just don't know how. But I am the first of so many things. I'm like, there's no way. But a wise man who is sitting right next to me once said to me, and I think that is where my life changed. You said to me, you do not choose where you are born.
Yeah.
But as to where you want to end up in life is entirely up to you. And for me, that was a game changer.
Wow.
I think from Lapo, the sky was the limit. Whatever that seemed impossible then seemed possible at that time.
Now, tell me about how you applied, because mina ngabona sengithole call for reference. This bank, ithatha numbers.
And it wasn't the bank that called you.
Yeah.
What people don't know is my story of Uksebenza is one crazy one. So me and my 2 other friends, that I will not mention amagama wabo.
Yeah.
After completing our matric, Scelo Ngubane with no plan. We then decided to send a CV weight. We used to volunteer at a center at Tepotemp. Access to computer. Why not do a CV, learn computer skills? Because unfortunately, as a black child at that age, I think it's still the same. We did not have exposure to any computers, nothing whatsoever. Not at Kaya, not at school. So I think for me personally, Tepotemp was the first center or the first place where I had access to use a computer.
Yeah.
I had to learn it there, self-taught, to where I am today.
I remember you also wanted to do a magazine.
A magazine as well.
But Tata, at the verge of starting that project.
You know, I remember as I type on my CV, we said, namhlanje so hambi binoni. We had so many copies. So Shiga
For trade.
for trek, size ngayo so really excited. I siyabangena, sakibele text. Sahamba sahlike for treka, saqale peple lapha ePlaza, Princess.
It's
Plaza. So henda in our CV. We walked into that shop, sathi sanibonani, sayihlekela sayixoxela. Sanibonani sizoletha ama CV. Back then when you can hand deliver my CV. Sizoletha ama CV. I remember the lady asibonisa ukuthi nayi manage. Ne? Sayagloya sisi. Bear in mind, this is the first stop for the day. Sanibonani sisi ninjani sizoletha CV. Yey, wasenzani usisi? Nina, nidlala kaso. Cathi mina nganiqasha. No, asiqashi. Yo. We could have chosen to be discouraged. Singasaqhubeki.
Udindlala amaninzi
brutal.
njani?
Yo, she was brutal. She killed our confidence, I won't lie. She killed our confidence. Walking from a plaza to a lakeside, we were already discouraged.
Yokuqala nje.
15 minutes was long in that shop. Wasitshela indaba zethu lo yasisi. Wasitshela ukuthi bangaqasha thina sigcela ukudlala kanje. But the question is sidlale ngani? So bekumele masingene shop sibe serious, and which didn't make sense, to be honest. But we still proceeded. Fike lakeside. Literally every shop that we went to told us they're not hiring because it was during that recession. Hi, asithatha ama-CV. Before you know it, sesiyayizulela nje lakeside. You know, sesiya window shopper. By the end of the day, we're like, oh, nay, Edgar's. Let's take our chances. Singena laphayana, sanibonani, soletha ama-CV. Hayi, wayiseni upstairs. We go upstairs, soletha ama-CV. Bawathathe kamnandi kanjani? Bawathathe, bafake emabhokisini. How a couple of days later, thina sisesontweni, we get calls to come for an interview. Back then, when EdCon still existed, we went to a EdCon in Joburg. Got there, Singaganan. Like bulk interviews. We stayed there the whole day. Only for us to be interviewed in the afternoon.
You.
Got interviewed. Sibahle. For interview. Hi, sihlelele one day, esontweni again, you got a call for a reference, then we got a call to start umsebenzi. To my surprise, umsebenzi that we had got was Ugiyoma yabona lapha Edgar semnyango. Sanibonani, ngiyafuna ukuvula account. Sanibonani. Cabanga ilanga lonke umuhle wakhuluma English. Kanti khuluma English kodwa sanibonani, ngiyafuna ukuvula account. But if there's one thing I love about myself is I don't mind any challenge. Angisabi nokuziyehlisa. I can take a podium to do whatever.
Wow.
That's me naturally. As low as that job may have seemed, it was better than being part of the statistics of abantu abangasebenzi. So I took that job.
Kuthi nje ungahlali
Ngahlala elokishini. I would stand lapha eEdgar's Lakeside Mall the whole day. From ekuseni, the only time you'll take a break is during lunch. Wonke ongenayo, sanibonani, ngiyafuna ukuvula account. Sanibonani, ngiyafuna ukuvula account.
And the rejection of people, how did they
December,
make
ke kumuntu ofuna ukuvula account, bathi banama-bonus. I'm sure you'd open one account. Or abanye, they would say no. Bahambe baye phezulu. I would understand. It was suspicious. Abobani laba, why are they not up there? You know? After 2 weeks of working lapaya, kuholwa weekly, we did not get paid for 2 weeks. Ne?
The commission payment.
We did not get paid. Nothing. You ugibela ngemali yakho.
Phela ka futhi bagibeza wathi uyasebenza.
So ekhaya it seems as if ngathi uyahola ulethe imali. 3 weeks later we got paid. Do you want to know how much we got paid? 3 weeks later, 80 rand.
Yo.
80 rand. Uvugile every single day, including Saturday and Sunday, to go to work, to get paid 80 rand.
Yatloki 80 rand.
Amel.
Without yabo zero about
that clock, basinikeza yona cash.
Cash.
Edlala wena.
Yo.
Cash. Hayi vele ngayidlela yona ngayithengela kodwa benzoyenzani nge-80 rand. I got decide because I tried, it's not working. Ngiyayekela. When that happened, I was now back. My statistics waselokishini. What now? Hey, ngihlelele ngimindele indaba zami. Fonela omunye umngani wami. Mzala, sibuzana ngomzala. Mzala. Khona i-agency esososo imfonele bathi i-bank enjenjenje bafuna abantu. Are you interested? Ngihlele lokishini. Why wouldn't I be? Of course I am. Banikeza my number wami. They call me, hi, Banmani from this agency. We're looking for people, so on and so forth. Are you interested? I'm like, yeah, sure I am. They're like, okay, there's an interview at bank, a plaza. Please come through, bring your CV. I apply. I must bring my CV at the interview. Take my CV, go to the interview, get interviewed. Again, ngimuhle. Ngizotshela ukuthi this time around, angeke ngisame emnyango. I'm gonna walk everywhere. Someone, ngiyayifuna loan? Estradini. So the expectation is for you to get to work at 8, shibek yakho, and go source a business. Ngaphandle. That's your job. The basic salary is 1,000 rand for the first 3 months.
Okay.
Then after 3 months, it's 500. Into ezogenzela imali is application wama loan wavulai. It's about 450 per application. So which means if you apply yourself and you work hard, ungahola kahle. We would get there, speak ama big way to walk around Pinoni. Sanibonani, ngiyafuna loan. Ngazila but 7 zela le bank and it was hard. Did not reach our target the first month. Did not reach our target the second month. The third month, because we contracted 3 months, renewable every 3 months. The third month, we got called in separately. Office manager, you did not reach your targets. So targets yakho ngenyanga, it was 150,000. Ne? Ngoba we reachang, so ithatha sihlanganise, you need to reach this target by month end le, or we have to let you go. I remember leaving the office manager. This is a true story. The office built downstairs. I took the stairs, went upstairs in my toilet. I got a toilet and I kneeled and prayed. And I said, God, if if you're the one who placed me here, you are going to make a way. Angna plan. I don't know where to even begin. I've tried everything I could think of. If this is where you want me to be, only you can keep me here. Amen. I walked out. How? Minding my own business, trying to work. Get a call. Hi, Zanele Mnguni, ukhuluma guy A, I got your card. Mawubhiza uhamba, ngisebenzela dealership. I have an idea. I'm a client that decline my vehicle finance. Angeke sikhona bayenzela personal loan because I've got some application amaningi, but I decline. Hey, I'm like, ungivelela phi lo guy. I'm like, send. 150,000 that I struggled to reach in 30 days. I managed to reach that target in a day. We exceed. And just like that, that's how I got saved. And my contract got renewed. Okay. Siyathengisa. I'm on contract, remember, ngisebenzeli ibank. Subcontract, I mean. Siyathengisa, there's targets. One day, I get called in, manager again. I'm a branch administrator, they need to go to a training. And unfortunately, a bank, the securities. So, khona izinto ekumele zenziwe on a daily basis. A day cannot pass zingayenziwanga. So, they're not going to be there, but those things still need to be done. So, sithe masibuza ukuthi ubani abangamcela ukuthi kube i-backup yabo. But we think uZanele singakhona ukumtraina iyenze le nto le. So, are you up for the challenge? Of course, why not? Only trained on Friday. On Monday, I needed to come in and do the job. Did the job Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They came back on Thursday. The manager was like, is it fine? They're like, it's perfect. One of the branch administrators says, actually, I've lost interest kule role. Ngifuna ukuba consultant. So why not mina ngitrainele ukuba consultant, uZanele trainele ukuba branch administrator? By God's grace, if you position your consultant diavulega, because there was a possibility for one of the consultants who to hammer by branch administrator, then we're now zongena la then uZanele can, why not? That's how God works.
Wow.
He positions you. Now, I still have targets to reach, but at the same time, 9 opportunities you need to maximize. You need to maximize. So as a result, the plan is in motion. We are trainer, we are train. In less than a month, we are hambali, a consultant. This one applies for that role. She gets it. This one gets advertised. I apply. I get the role. The truth of the story is, starting out as a contractor, this is the honest truth, and people will forgive me for highlighting this. Permanent employees of the bank made us believe ukuthi, as a contractor, uyosebenza uzudinwe. Le ethe wazosebenza izothi ngaluhambe. They're not going to take you permanently. It's impossible. It's not possible. I got hired as a contractor in Feb. I was permanent by November the same year. This is something that people said it's not possible.
It's impossible.
There's no way.
You believe in prayer. How did you become so found in believing in prayer?
It's so crazy. Remember I said, Mineka, I am the first of so many things. So I come from a family where mama musuntele zayon, baba mbekanga sunt.
Mount Bega, you mean Zangasont, Namand?
No, bekasonto ubabami wangali isonto wathi fuck ngisayingena indaba.
Was she a pass?
Hayi, massive abathi wayobishop.
Hey!
Wayingali.
Wengalo Bishop?
Zangayingena babami mina ngizikhulela ziphuzela i-black label yakhe.
Add more refreshments and more reward.
Mamela.
Hey.
Babambi akangeni, you know. And I say ubabambi akangeni because he's late now. He passed away last year,
Oh,
July.
I didn't know. Sorry
Yeah,
about
no,
that.
thank you. He passed away last year, July. So grew up esontweni Zayoni. Angithanda ukugceka ke. You know, angithanda ukugceka, but the honest truth is there was no foundation for abantwana in terms of what is prayer, what is the Bible. There was not that. So growing up, a friend of mine, angimazi ukuphi-ke kodwa ngiyohlezi ngimbonga, invited me to church. Hayi asamsesontweni, hayi ngizoya. One day, I was like, let's go. I've got nothing to lose. I went once. Ngastop ukuya futhi. And when I started going again, there was no turning back. And that was when I accepted Christ as Lord, God, and Savior in my life.
Yeah.
That's where I learned what prayer was. That's where I learned about what faith was. I actually learned everything about Christianity there. Learned how to pray. I learned what fasting was. I learned so much. The foundation, although I'm no longer with the church, but the foundation that they laid.
Very strong.
Mamela angisasonti ngijoyina ubabami. Mara the foundation is very solid.
Now the fuck.
And I'm to fuck. The foundation is so solid, it's crazy. Mina, you can wake me up. Ngingakutshela iBhayibheli from, you know?
From Genesis to Revelation.
And I will not tell you about something in the Bible that I have never seen in my life.
Wow.
I will tell you about what I've seen God do in my life. Hence, for me, talking about the Bible, talking about God comes naturally because I have seen amandla kaNkulunkulu in my life.
You know, one thing I was thinking about when we were preparing for your interview was to... A lot of young people will always hear, you know, South Africans or in the media, or imisebenzi ayikho, loku kune stress of this. And you're one person that has never believed in negative things that have been said. And I think to encourage people to say, how do you turn your ears to say angifuni bala uthi no ndikose kwaZulu uthi nibeze kodwa ningabalaleli uthi ngiyakuzwa kodwa ngikulaleli lokho kushoyo. How were you able to really continue because awukaze wahlala?
You know, mina, one thing about me is I think mina nginenkani yazi mina nginenkani enye. Once I set my mind on something, no one and nothing can stop me. I always say ngithi mina unless ngileli ebhoxini angisenamandla, then you can tell me it's impossible. Then you can tell me it's impossible.
If there's still breath inside of you, there's a potential for more.
You know, now I'm at school, ne? I'm studying. And I always say, I'm doing my degree in business administration.
Okay.
And I always say to my husband, ngithi, baby, magwi exam time. Noma ngabe ICU, mamela batshele bangikhiphe ku-Comulate laptop yami ngizobhala la.
Wow.
Esibhedlela.
You will finish what you started.
I always finish what I've started. I always do. To cut the long story short, yase absa. First, I was told you can't be on a contract uthathwe permanent. I became permanent. Then I was told you can't asihambi la ibranchini so fela la. So fela la kuna growth la. So fela la. Towers, head office, regional, impossible. Ungayiphuphi leyo. So fela la.
Uphelela la.
I remember ngangisebenza eBinoni. Sort of ukuqhubeka ngeBoxback ngalethwe Davidson. Ngakhala. Hey, ngakhala weekend.
You felt you were demoted.
Mina ngimuhle kanje Davidson.
Awusamisi iBinoni ukhomba parts uliduze.
Yo. the depression of walking into a branch yaselokishini, dealing with my clients waselokishini. But what that situation told me is, when God says, I have plans for you, me, I've learned ukuthi uNkulunkulu akalala ngozeli, but we don't get that. But what that means is, he's no man that he makes mistakes.
Yo.
There's nothing that happens in empilweni yakho because uNkulunkulu bekalele and then waba like, oh ngikhohle ukupress alarm or press button yento so.
Yo.
Every single thing happens for a reason. So I worked at Binoni. There was a number of us as administrators. I was lost in the system. And God needed to take me out of that. I was moved from Ibranch, Ebe sit down, to Ibranch Solokshin. I cried because I thought being used. Yeah, abanye, there's a branch administrator, sales support, and a switchboard. Mina, I am being moved to a branch to be all three positions, me one. But little did I know, with one day, there was going to be a calling genayo. And this is another thing that I feel is important. Everything that you do, give it your best. Because you will never know who's watching. You will never know who's on the other side or mamele.
Oh, yes.
So it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter ukuthi wenzani. Yonke into oyenzayo, give it your best. I moved from a branchini to a regional office based on a phone call that I answered, and I said, good day, so-and-so bank, Zanele speaking. It was the regional executive. What's in Ngubane branch administrator? I said, please hold the line, you're going through. Went through. Wabuza good. Ubani wephendula phone? So they've turned up. Yeah. Hey.
So why that talento yase Binoni? It was in you now.
It was in me.
Wow.
Fast forward to a couple of days later, branch manager says the executive team is coming to a branch in. So we had this thing. Makuza abantu say, we put on a mask. Sizokugqokela kahle, sizoba ngathi vele right. Ngathi kusesikolweni.
Yeah.
Listen, it's uniform. But yeah, one thing about me, Mina, because I respect myself as a brand, I believe I'm a brand. I show up.
Yeah.
I show up on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So for me, that day, there was nothing for me prepared. I show up when I come to work because I take myself seriously.
Oh, yes.
Woke up, came to work. The execs were figure. I continued with my day. I was called in, please assist with this, please assist with that. I did that. Couple of days later, my branch manager comes in and says, "Ngicela CV yakho now."
Yo. Uyithatha manje.
Why? Yay, let's CV wena. Believe it or not, I did not have a CV. Because asindawo ngisho sihleli la kunini apply vele asindawo sihleli la. Ngai type CV yabo le name tap Zanele said tap ngaziyenzela yona CV fast ngai angifisi nokuyibona leyo CV because I knew the standard was not who I am. Got called for an interview. Angazi nokuthi ngi-interview elani. Zakuxoxele this funny thing. Faith like potatoes. Mina uZanele get to work ngitshela umama lo usebenza ebranchini. Ungasangenzela itiya ngemark please. Ngiyahamba mina la. And the line yosebenza khona. Kudingakala cup and saucer.
Okay.
So from now on, mawungenzela iti cup and saucer girl. Cup and saucer. Mangiya ku-interview, I get the job. People say you lying, you knew ukuthi ubuhamba. Truth of the matter is I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't. Mina bengizikhulumela nge-cup and saucer yami. I didn't know ukuthi ngiyahamba ndivele la ngiyakhona kuzodingakala
Cup and sauce.
cup and saucer.
So now I know that we running off time, and I wish we could, take more from you. What would you say to a young person or service who's doing a grade 12? Obona kahle ukuthi akaza ngayapi. What would you say to them to encourage their future?
Can I just share a bit of a story?
Yeah.
In answering you lapho. There's a story that I learned angisakhumbula ukuthi ngaswapi. But bekhona ubaba boga fundisa uprincess ukudrive. As bafundisana ukudriver, ne? Qala ukunetha. Princess says, Baba ngicela ukupaka. Baba says, don't park. The storm becomes worse. Even ama-driver anama-license are parking on the side, but Upoga says, do not park. They drive to a point where it's no longer raining. And Upoga says, you can park the car. Bag Princess, kwatile. Says, Puma. Mia Pum says, tenga bag. Imvuli net, ma exanet ting bag. You know? Atupoga, bege move. Bege move, Ati, what do you see? Atumtana, all the cars that parked in the storm are still stuck in the storm.
Yo.
But because we continue to drive, we figure like ngasa stormicon. There's one thing we are not given. It is choice yokuthi sisalwe laphi. I still maintain that.
Yeah.
Angeke uzuchoose ukuthi ngifuna ukuzalelwa esentini. I think if we had a choice, sonke kube sizalelwe esentini, mina kube ngumntana kaPetrus Motsepe, president. But I did not have a choice. But every day when you wake up, you are given a chance to choose. So as long as usaphefumula, do not limit yourself.
Wow.
Nothing is impossible. I redefined the odds of life.
Yes.
Amanengi futhi. So many.
Wow.
That namangihlala ngibe like, there is no way ukuthi umntana wasethathwa, wase-Davidton, okhuliswe umama nobaba bangana matric, olandela siblings that don't even have matric or did not do well in school could achieve the things that I have achieved.
Wow.
But because I believed, and because on a daily basis, I wake up and I say, I refuse to get stuck in the storm. So no matter how hard life is, I still push through the storm because I believe Uguti, after the storm comes sunlight.
Wow.
I would advise people never to give up. I would advise people to take themselves seriously and be intentional. I don't have a problem with people saying, Mfuna uguya a university to go study. When I say be intentional, know why.
Why?
Live a purposeful life. I want to study marketing because this is what I want to see happen. Be intentional. More than anything, hold yourself accountable. You cannot blame anybody else
But yourself.
but yourself. It can't be your parents. They made their own choices. Iguwe. So every day when you wake up, ubeke inyawo phansi. Umhlaba mawazi ukuthi ivukile umntana wengonyama kaJuda. Zonyiwa.
Eish.
Kuzonyiwa.
Wow.
And you walk in there and you make a statement.
And show up.
You show up.
Emakai, I hope you are inspired. I hope you are revived. I wish the interview could continue even more.
Hands up, boy.
Yes.
Like 3 before ngicede stock Samsung.
Please, we need you to come back and inspire. If you are there at home and you are seated and you're watching and saying, what can I do? Please be inspired by Historis Zanele Mnguni. And she says, in the storm, don't stop. Continue until the storm is over. They say there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. May God bless you. May God be with you. Be inspired. Thank you. Hola.